National Weather Desk. Raging rivers. Days of relentless rain leads to flooding across the Pacific Northwest, and the worst is yet to come. We have team coverage.
And neighbors around here say they have never seen the water this high.
Millions of people woke up to fresh snow this morning, including one area under a blizzard warning. But in Reno, it's unseasonably warm.
We are currently in the El Niño pattern, warmer temperatures and drier conditions.
Why has there been so much fog in California?
The sun's energy radiating away from the earth and cooling things down, and we get the fog forming.
The surprising geothermal discovery made in the Nevada desert.
Nobody knew this site existed.
And the latest skier designed for winter weather runners.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Flood watches and warnings are in effect across western Washington today as round 2 of the Pineapple Express brings even more rain to the saturated region. Officials predict near record flooding today and tomorrow as an atmospheric river delivers relentless rainfall, and it's not expected to let up until tomorrow afternoon with another 2 to 8 inches of rain expected. Now, rivers have already spilled over, leading to water rescue, evacuations, and road closures. And check out all the water rushing over Snoqualmie Falls as the river level rises. And it's not just in Washington here. Folks, flooding has been a concern in Oregon as well. This morning we have reporters across the region covering the floods and the preparations for what's still to come. We start with Michelle Esteban.
This whole trailer park will be right waist high.
Karen Bruno speaks from experience. She was here when the water was waist high in 2009. This time, the Snohomish River could go even higher.
So I'm probably gonna have to leave my trailer here and pray I have a home when I get back.
The river has swelled its banks and more, overtaken a park. It's actually 4 feet below this, and more is coming. It brought out first responders to warn residents at the Three Rivers Mobile Home Park.
Be prepared for the highest water Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah,
and your access will be cut off.
We watched as debris rode the current like a river conveyor belt. The Snohomish River is forecasted to crest at a new record high of over 33 feet, 6 feet higher than it is now.
Road closure signs are there for a reason, especially when extreme storms drive up river levels. This is a case throughout Lewis County. The drivers of these vehicles had to abandon them.
It was dry yesterday. This all happened overnight.
Rich Hensman and his family are facing a stark reality in Chehalis, where the river surged through their property and began inching upward toward their home.
The Chehalis River currently runs through my backyard. You can see the water flowing through the back of my property.
Flooding across Lewis County forced the closure of major roads and several schools, and the worst may not be over. Interstate 5 remains open, but there are spots where the water has come nearly to the shoulders, and more heavy rain could be the difference.
We've got about 70 head of cattle out here, and the question is whether we've got adequate protection for them.
County officials anticipate major flooding, with the Skagit River expected to crest at more than 40 feet in concrete late Thursday morning, and in Mount Vernon at nearly 37 feet early Friday.
So now it's a wait and see.
The forecast and the impact of the flooding really will dictate who will be evacuated if there are evacuations.
The sounds of Johnson Creek echoes through an apartment complex northeast of Milwaukee.
I'm just worried about being able to get in and out safely.
Yes, you can bet mothers like Solveig Robertson are keeping an eye on the creek.
Seeing those rapids and stuff like that makes me nervous.
Another concern is the flooding. This ditch I'm in is right next to a swimming pool, next to many apartments. And neighbors around here say they have never seen the water this high. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, Johnson Creek peaked at just over 30 feet Tuesday afternoon. But it is rare for Johnson Creek to reach that high. The last time it peaked at 30 feet was in 2017. This time around, neighbors are, keeping their fingers crossed.
And that same system could be to blame for a major rock slide in Idaho. It happened yesterday along State Highway 21 northwest of Boise. It's not clear how long the road will be closed. Officials say an avalanche crew is assessing the area. Winter is still 11 days away, but the season is well underway, and many states' winter weather advisories stretch from Montana to Maine today, and there's a blizzard warning In West Virginia, heavy snow is falling in Buffalo, where 8 to 16 inches is expected. In eastern Michigan, up to 4 inches could fall here in Flint and 6 inches in Saginaw. And check out the piles of snow in White Bear Lake just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. The storm dropped another 5 inches on top of what was already there. One area that is not dealing with winter weather right now is Reno, Nevada. The city has seen a string of unseasonably warm days, which could set some records. Will Payne has more on the high temperatures and just how long they could last.
We're nearly 2 weeks out till Christmas, but here in northern Nevada, you couldn't tell.
The sun feels good. The weather's nice.
Judy Purser spent her Tuesday morning volunteering downtown, but after she was all wrapped up,
I'll probably take a longer walk than I would have just to the car.
the longtime Reno resident was one of many to spend the day outdoors, soaking up the unseasonably warm temperatures hitting the region. Reno maxed out at 62 degrees Tuesday, just a few shy of the record of 65 degrees set back in 1979. And there's a chance for records to be broken or continue to be approached later this week. Hector Crespo and the National Weather Service say this current system stems from the strengthening ridge of high pressure over the Pacific Northwest.
We ended up having a sort of a blocking pattern that has been keeping that area of high pressure like just over our area because it's just been just surrounded by other areas of low pressures.
Crespo adds,
we are currently in the El Niño pattern. It means that it's warmer temperatures and drier conditions for this time of the year. And so pretty much it's another one of the reasons why we're seeing this.
Along with the warm temperatures, this week we could continue to see lots of sunshine, dry weather, calm winds, and hazy mornings throughout the area.
People in Northern California have been dealing with days of heavy fog. It's common this time of year, but can cause major issues. As Alexis Bruno shows us, it's impacting operations at a regional airport.
The recent fog has created some visibility issues not only for drivers, but pilots as well. Air Manager Andrew Solzvig at the Redding Regional Airport says they've had 4 delays in the past week and 3 flight cancellations. In some cases, the fog was so severe, flights were unable to land at the Redding Regional Airport.
We had a flight that circled 3 times, realized they weren't being able to land, and so then they went back to Seattle, only delaying the flight till later for when the weather cleared up.
One passenger says her incoming flight to Redding got delayed a couple of hours because of the fog. This made her worried about her departure flight that already had some changes.
It changed last night at 9 o'clock, so we had to redo stuff. And so I was a little worried this morning because I wouldn't have been able to leave.
Solzvig reassured passengers that pilots are trained for the weather, using delays and cancellation as a safety precaution.
And the fog plaguing that region is called radiation fog. Meteorologist Chris Kuiper explains what causes it to form.
A little breakdown real quick on radiation fog, and there are 2 types of fog. The kind of fog you see on the California coastline in the summer, the June gloom, that's called advection fog. That's not what we have. We have what's called radiation fog, and not like nuclear radiation or anything like that. It's the sun's energy radiating away from the earth and cooling things down, and we get the fog forming because of it. We have to have the long, clear nights. We're in December now. It doesn't get a whole lot longer than that as far as our nights are concerned. I have to have moist ground, just moisture in the air. We've had a very wet October and November, tons of rain for us. And so the ground is practically saturated. And there's still ponds of water out there. So check, we have both those ingredients in place. Once we cool things down with the clear skies at night, that allows the temperatures to cool down to the dew point. Then it has nowhere else to go. So it squeezes out in the form of fog.
The National Weather Service is working to hire back hundreds of positions laid off or otherwise cut by the Trump administration. But the effort is progressing slowly as winter storm season arrives. The agency received permission in late July to add a total of 450 people after roughly 550 positions were cut by DOGE. Now, so far, just 80 specialized staff positions like meteorologists have been filled. More than a dozen forecast offices reportedly face serious staffing vacancies. A NOAA spokesperson says the Weather Service is properly staffed to meet their mission. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how earthquakes have helped shape the Montana landscape, and we'll help you better understand different types of winter precipitation.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look the Northeast. We're tracking more cold and snow at times in the Northeast in the coming days. Our next round is moving in today with some snow first over New York and getting into northern New England at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're seeing some rain along the coastline down through southern New England, northern New Jersey, and New York City. The back edge of that rain and snow moves out late tonight, and that's going to set the stage for a brighter but windy Thursday. Our best chance for a half foot of snow will be up in ski country.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region, tracking a system that's going to roll through, bringing showers, especially in the low altitudes, upper terrain. We're talking the mountains likely going to fall as snow. The system also brings some very breezy conditions. Temperatures are going to be mild as the system rolls through. We're talking about mid-40s, still below the average, but it will be chillier heading into Thursday. Those numbers will drop to the 20s in the mountains, 30s elsewhere.
Hi, meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. A reinforcing frontal boundary moves across the southeast heading into Wednesday. This will keep conditions dry heading into the end of the week with more sunshine for South Florida heading into Thursday and Friday. Afternoon highs on your Wednesday ranging anywhere from the 50s along the Carolinas to the mid-60s across the northern Gulf Coast. A little more mild across central and South Florida as temperatures return to the low 70s for most of central Florida and near the 80-degree mark there in Miami.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael at ABC6 and Fox 28 in Columbus, Ohio, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
Montana is no stranger to earthquakes. Meteorologist Mitchell Combs tells us about notable quakes in the state's history and explains what has been done to prepare for the next one.
Western Montana is a seismically active region, so earthquakes are an everyday occurrence across the state. The good news, most of them are small, not even large enough for us to detect the shaking. A few of them are stronger, however. As Mike Stickney explains, these faults can support earthquakes exceeding a magnitude of 5.0 or stronger.
We've had very significant earthquakes north of Three Forks in the Clarkston Valley in 1925. Clarkston earthquake was estimated to be a magnitude 6.5. And the Helen earthquakes, there was actually a pair of large earthquakes that occurred 2 weeks apart, a 6.3 and a 6.0.
These earthquakes pale in comparison to an event that occurred on August 17, 1959, near Hebgen Lake. The Hebgen Lake earthquake measured in at a 7.3 magnitude, the largest in Montana's recorded history. It's also one of the largest in United States history. Lasting less than a minute, the earthquake resulted in strong shaking, which damaged buildings in Ennis and West Yellowstone and was felt across the entire Pacific Northwest.
It triggered a massive landslide in Madison Canyon that cascaded down from the south wall of the canyon across the valley, 400 feet up the other side of the canyon wall, and this huge massive rock dammed off the Madison River to form a brand new lake known as Earthquake Lake. And tragically, the edge of that slide covered part of the Rock Creek campground, where 26 people at that campground lost their lives. It turned out to be the largest seismically triggered landslide in North America during historic times.
Following the quake, thermal features within Yellowstone National Park were impacted. For example, Old Faithful Geyser saw its period between eruptions increase from 65 minutes to 74 minutes. We have had major earthquakes in the state, and for a time, a magnitude 6.0 or stronger event was occurring about once per decade. As Mike and I discussed, it has been 66 years since the state recorded an earthquake of this strength. This may result in a false sense of security, as it is not a matter of if the region will experience a large earthquake again, it is a matter of when.
And Nevada ranks high on the list for geothermal production in the U.S. Number 2, in fact. A new unique discovery in the desert could pave the way for even more geothermal energy. Ben Marigat reports.
There's not much outside Tonopah, Nevada.
Nobody knew this site existed. There was no prior data, no prior exploration.
But 2,700 feet below the Earth, the temperature is about 250 degrees. Joel Edwards, co-founder of the geothermal exploration startup company Zanskar.
It is hot enough and big enough for a big power plant.
Unlike most geothermal sites, which have fumaroles or hot springs above ground, like this spot in South Reno, you can't see any of that at this site called Big Blind.
If you or I were to go walk across that site, there's nothing there that would say to us, just looking around, that, hey, there's a geothermal system there.
Edwards says Zanskar's artificial intelligence model located the site using pattern recognition, and they drilled it earlier this year to confirm it, potentially upending the traditional practice of simply drilling near surface activity.
Most of the resources are probably not expressed to the surface. They're probably concealed or hidden. And so how do we go about finding those systems?
He says it's a proof point to the energy industry that there's a lot more geothermal energy out there than previously thought. As for Big Blind, the exact power potential isn't yet known. They hope to build and start operating a power plant there in 3 to 5 years.
And precipitation shows up in different ways. Meteorologist Brett Luna explains how they form.
So the first one we're going to look at, that's rain. It's pretty easy. It starts out as snow higher up in the atmosphere with those temperatures below freezing, but then that snow melts as it falls towards the surface and runs through a deeper layer of warmer air that's above freezing all the way from the cloud down to the ground. Freezing rain is obviously a little bit different, and it is not fun. So it all starts out as snow again higher up in the atmosphere where those temperatures are below freezing, but as it starts to fall down towards the surface, it runs into a layer of air above freezing, so it temporarily melts. But below that layer, right at the surface, it's below freezing again, so it melts on contact with the cold surface. To get sleet, the snow is going to fall and then temporarily melt once it hits a warmer layer of air that's above freezing, but this warm layer isn't as deep as the previous 2 examples, and there's a larger, colder layer of air below freezing closer to the ground. This allows that raindrop to refreeze before it reaches the surface and fall as little ice pellets called sleet. Snow's also pretty easy. It starts out as snow, and as it falls, it only runs into that deep layer of cold air that's below freezing all the way from the cloud to the ground. It never has a chance to melt before it hits the ground.
And just because winter weather is here doesn't mean outdoor exercise needs to stop. The biggest running trade show in North America just wrapped up in San Antonio, Texas. Meteorologist Chicago Wendler was there and shows us all the latest.
You're wanting a shoe that can handle the environment that you're going to be in, which is probably snow, ice, slush, wind, rain.
Brett Rivers from the North Face says its new Alta Mesa 500 V2 is weather ready.
So this upper is much more breathable, really excelling in those hot weather, warm weather months where breathability is key.
A Gore-Tex version will have brand new waterproofing technology.
Invisible Fit is Gore-Tex's best solution. It's super lightweight and flexible and fully waterproof, windproof, and breathable.
Ooh. Okay, as a meteorologist, you just said 3 things that are music to my ears.
So we brought our Gore-Tex puddle that you can test them out in.
Got it. All right, so I'm going to get in here.
Yes, you're going to get right in.
And then I'm going to
You can jump around.
I'm going to run my marathon now.
After my test run,
I am pleased to say my feet are dry.
Our regular Gore-Tex is like adding a second layer into the shoe. It's like a second sock. With Invisible Fit, we put our waterproof lining directly to the upper material of a shoe, so it's all one piece.
There's also innovation to renew old waterproof items.
Rain jackets, they come with a coating that's durable, but it isn't permanent. So it will wear off over time, but you can just chuck this back on in the washing machine at home, and it'll beat up water like it was brand new again.
New sunglasses from Goodr are more than just rain and waterproof.
These actually float. So we have an example right here that if you are surfing, you're on a boat, you're having fun out on the water, these fall off your boat, they're not gonna sink.
And when the weather heats up, staying cool is key.
And the React 8 has MCS technology. It's going to reduce muscle vibration, and on the inside, it's got HiQ technology, and HiQ actually is a smart technology to reduce reduce the heat in your body to try to make it cool it down.
From apparel to accessories, brands are optimizing for the conditions.
We focus on creating running accessories that adapt to the runner, and each year we fine-tune our products.
Hot or cold, rain or shine, the running industry forecasts hundreds of new products that will go the distance. In San Antonio, I'm Chicago Windler for the National Weather Desk.
And time now for a short break, but first we take in snowy views over Finland.
Well, a very good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Michael. Snow showers across the northern plains. We've got a rain-snow mix across the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes for the day today. As we head into the day tomorrow, we've got Clipper number 1 that'll be racing its way down across the central plains. That kicks its way down into the lower Ohio Valley on Friday. But look out to the far northwest. Another Clipper heads in late Friday night.
Well, good Wednesday morning to you. Meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast today across the region. We do have a cold front that'll be heading south during the day. Behind it, gusty winds at times hitting 20, maybe 25 or so miles per hour. Notice temperatures 50s and 60s. Not really bitterly cold air, but just a little bit cooler. We'll get a morning into 30s and 40s start Thursday. The afternoon, lots of sunshine. Really a beautiful December day. Highs 50s, 60s, and 70s on Thursday.
I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Heading into Wednesday, all of the problems out west are still close to the Canadian border, from flooding in the PNW to gusty winds in Montana and the Dakotas versus the sunshine and the warmth out of San Diego with highs near 80 tomorrow. You can see what's causing the problems. An atmospheric river pushing towards Seattle and Portland, snow and wind pushing through Montana. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Take a look at this recent cirrus sea sunrise in Cincinnati, an enchanting circus of cirrus clouds in the sky and reflected in the water. And in Gulf Shores, Alabama, a morning sundog sighting. These spots of colorful light form at about 22 degrees to the left, right, or on both sides of the sun when ice crystals are present and light refracts through them.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
And we talked earlier about earthquakes. A powerful one shook buildings in parts of Japan on Monday. Meteorologist Noah Hawk looks at why Japan is so prone to quakes.
Well, they're going to be close to something known as a tectonic plate. You're going to notice these pink lines all across the globe, and there's going to be one plate in specific, that Pacific plate, that's going to stretch across almost the entirety of the Pacific Ocean. And as we zoom in towards Japan, you're going to notice on the eastern side of that island, we're going to see that they're going to be falling just along that pink line, and this line is just along something known as the Ring of Fire, where there's going to be an increased chance for earthquake and volcanic activity, even the same one that saw that earthquake on the Kamchatka Peninsula just a few months ago.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.